I can't stop playing RuneScape Leagues too. It's kind of becoming a problem. There's no way I dodged that. Oh, that is oh my god! We gotta leave. We gotta leave. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. I'm good. Yes, leave! Oh my god! Oh, as soon as I say that, dude shows up. Oh! Oh! Oh, we're doing mad damage. We're doing mad damage, chat. This is it. Oh no! 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 Holy Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. It's your boy, Sir Taco. And today we're going to be recapping my first week playing Leagues 2. Like I've stated in my previous video, this is my first Leagues experience, period. I think I may have logged on to Old School's most recent league for like 2 seconds and just did not vibe with it. So I chose to not play it. And then last year, due to other reasons, I could not play Leagues 1. So, but I think I've made the right choice with this one because it seems like they have made a lot of improvements from RuneScape's first ever leagues to this one, and it can only pretty much go up from here. So that's pretty much where I'm at. My leagues has been at least week 1 has been very chaotic, all over the place. There really hasn't been a rhyme or reason to it. I kind of feel like my ADHD is very just on crack. I want to do everything and anything I can. But I have to remind myself that we still have another 5 weeks. By the time I'm recording this and by the time this will be posted, we're probably going to be down to 4 weeks left. So got to remind myself, pace myself a little bit. You know, the XP rates are still pretty high, but there's still plenty of time for me to experience as much as I want to within this leagues. So, and I will be covering in this video as well the picks that I've made so far within week 1 going into week 2. And then additionally, I will also go into what my goals are for this league and pretty much where I kind of plan on the content I, for the most part, plan on experiencing within it. So as most of you guys know, I'm still working on maxing my main account. I am playing, kind of taking a break from doing that because I chose my main account to play this leagues. And I don't really regret it because, like I said, it kind of gives me, it's going to give me an idea. I'll touch more about this later on, but it's giving me an idea of the end game and what type of goals that I want to set for myself when I return to the actual live version of the game. So yeah, my leagues has been just really all over the place. I've been training random skills, doing random tasks, just kind of really just RuneScape maxing, I guess, is one terminology that you can kind of use for it for the most part. I think the only 99 that I've really gotten so far has been thieving, and that one was the easiest one for me just because I could AFK that at work. That's been kind of how I've been playing a lot of times because I don't have a lot of time to play with work, other responsibilities. Pretty much for the most part, I only have during the weekday probably at most like 6 hours, and that's like the entire day to really sit down and play. So it's a lot of not as click intensive gameplay I've been doing off my phone, or if I'm home, then maybe I'll have it up on another monitor or something like that and doing just some basic skilling or something like that I'm going to need in the future. So, which I have been enjoying that so far, is just how RuneScape is built. And it's one of the things that always, I feel for me as a returning player, always welcomes me back, is just kind of how every skill for the most part really feeds into one another. And it's really cool for me just because it's like, well, if you want to do this one thing, then you have to get this other skill. And thankfully, a lot of the skills, some of them may not be fully enjoyable to experience, but they're not terrible. And with the XP rates being, you know, boosted to ever living, you know, just boosted, it's kind of been very gratifying to be able to get these skills, get these requirements, and then go out and pretty much go experience a lot of the content that I have missed over the years. So that's definitely been one of my favorite features. That's just a RuneScape feature in general. So I will say, with the changes that they've made so far, I'm not really an expert on all the XP rate changes and all the mechanics of every little thing that they've changed so far. That's kind of the point in me maxing my main account, so I can kind of learn a little bit more about that stuff through time. But for the most part, I think the changes that they've made so far during the road to restoration has actually proven very valuable and has made the game very enjoyable, especially the combat, I feel, because I started playing RuneScape 3 again, or modern RuneScape again, back last year around May timeframe. And so for me, the combat was very, very confusing. It's still kind of confusing, but I'm learning it very slowly and very painfully with my experiences with Jad, who is apparently one of the easiest bosses, and I have lost to him probably more times than I can count in my hand, unfortunately. But like I said, I've been having fun with it, and it's been a learning experience, and I want to continue. It's definitely a gratifying experience when you can kind of start to really understand a little bit how the game tech works and the overall combat system really works. So for this league, I've kind of more so focused on being more ranged focused than anything else. I've only done magic just for the high alch ability, and then I've also, one of my picks kind of boosts or levels up my magic pretty easily. So that's the only reason why I have such a high. I'll post my current skills at the moment of making this video here or somewhere on the screen so you guys can see it. That's kind of where I'm at for the most part. And this is, like I said, this is very, very much just me AFK as much as I can playing, not really full hard focus for the most part. Here and there, maybe I'll hard focus and have something else playing in the background while, you know, playing the game. So, but that's been the only 99 I've gotten. And like I said, I went real ranged this time around, which I've been enjoying. I typically go for ranged characters or ranged builds when I'm playing RPGs or pretty much anything that is of the sorts. And I have to say that I enjoy that type of combat. So for me, it's been very gratifying. And then it's been really awesome to relearn, because the character that I have, I think I've gone over it in a video. The main that I have pretty much started out very ranged focused. And so I missed out on a lot of the early level ranged kind of experience, and the tutorial kind of showing you how everything kind of works. So that's been a very gratifying experience for me, or very pleasant. I don't know what word to use here. So it's just been fun / very beneficial for me to go back and learn how a lot of the different abilities feed into one another and how that kind of all ties together, and then kind of getting me out of Revolution combat going into full manual, so that way I can really just get the full experience with the combat system. Like I said, I'm very noobish at it, so there is still a heck of a lot for me to learn when it comes to the combat style, and I'm gonna pretty much just be trying my best to learn, and there's going to be probably a lot of deaths on my part. I'm probably going to die a lot as my character, so that's fine though. It's all in good spirit of having fun. So going into my picks so far for this league, this is what I've chosen. We'll start off very simplistic with the regions. I only have one region unlocked other than the main three that you are given free, which are Misthalin, Havenheim, and Karamja. I chose Al-Kharid, or the Kharidian Desert. That's the one that I chose as my first pick. I don't regret it. I think it was a good choice. I think there's a lot of content within the desert, and I think as a ranger, from what I can understand, there is a bow that is in the desert that will be very beneficial for me down the road once I am able to unlock it / actually go and probably fight that boss. So that's more of the pick that I went with first. And then from there, I think my next pick for regions wise is kind of a toss up. It's either going to be the wilderness, which I'm very leaning heavily towards the wilderness. I'll get into that on my goals portion of why I'm going to choose the wilderness. So I'll cover that in a second, but it's either going to be the wilderness or it's going to be Anachronia. And it's more so the reason between the two is, one is there's a lot of nostalgia or a lot of stuff that's within the wilderness that I want to experience, particularly God Wars Dungeon 1 is what I kind of want to experience within the wilderness, but then there's a lot of good range stuff that I can get out of Anachronia. So, and a lot of new content within Anachronia that I have never experienced other than the agility course. That's really about it. It's like Big Game Hunter and a couple other things. And it would kind of feed into a lot of the picks that I made for my relics so far. So it's between those two. Like I said, I'm leaning more towards the wilderness so I can go and play God of War's Dungeon 1 and go experience that. So that's kind of where I'm leaning, but we'll see when we get to that. I think by Saturday, when I will be streaming this Saturday, I'll put the date up somewhere. It's like, I can't tell you, it's like 8/22, I think, is when August 22nd is when I'll probably be live again. I think we'll have a decision and we'll be really, really close to me unlocking my next region. I'm not too many tasks off. I've been kind of putting those off, putting in as much task at the moment, but mostly, like I said, very skilling focused. So, but that's kind of where I'm leaning towards going next. Now diving into the relics that I have chosen so far. I started off with Survivalist, which was probably not the greatest choice for me as a person with a full-time job. I probably should have chosen Endless Harvest, but I enjoy skilling, I enjoy harvesting, I enjoy a lot of the skills that are very gathering focused. To me, it's very soothing, it's very relaxing, being able to hack at a tree for hours or mine at a rock for hours. I think even additionally going into the smithing and mining reworks that they had at some point, I think they make the game very enjoyable, and it's pretty fun. Like, it's pretty rewarding actually paying attention. There's been some new skills that I've learned from this league already that I didn't even think about previously. So for me, this league has already been teaching me stuff that I can bring over to my main account after the leagues has completed. So from Survivalist, I then went into Animal Wrangler. That choice was just kind of on a whim. I didn't really think Superheated or Divine Druid fit my playstyle. I'm not regretting it. I think it was a good choice, mostly for the fishing aspect, being able to bank a lot of the fish that I have. So doing the fish farming on Haven Hive, that's a wonderful place to gather fish. And if you don't know about it, or if you haven't done it, I'll put some footage of me using or doing that method. That gets you a lot of fish, especially if you chose Survivalist and you chose Animal Wrangler. You get the harpoon and you're able to bank a lot of that stuff. And then that pairs into my tier 4 pick beautifully as well. And I'll get into that here in a moment once we get to pick 4. So chose Animal Wrangler. Don't regret it. I think it's been a good choice. I've heard good things about Superheated. I really haven't heard much about Divine Druid. I didn't really look into it too much, so I can't really tell you what everybody's thoughts or what everybody chose. I know Jagex has been posting what the most popular picks have been so far, but that's been my choice. And then it goes into the next choice that I made, which was Voidwalker, which I guess kind of is a very surprising one. I think a lot of people with the build so far, I think maybe Nature's Network probably would have paired a lot better with my first 2 choices, but I enjoy it because it's very ease of access, having all those teleports set up so that way I don't have to, in short, worry too much about not being able to get to a location because I don't have the lodestone or the magic level. I can just kind of teleport there, and it makes very easy for me to get around Gillinor on that aspect. So I've enjoyed Voidwalker. I think it's been fun, and I forget what else it gives you. There's another thing I think that it lets you do. I think that's really it. It just gives you, yeah, just gives you a bunch of teleports. Okay, yeah, just what I figured. And then for my tier 4 pick, I ended up choosing Transmutation. And the reason for that one is just because it paired very well with my first 2 skills, Survivalist and Animal Wrangler, because I'm able to upgrade or degrade certain items that I craft, logs or cowhide, just a bunch of different things. And so that's been very, very handy for me, because only being rage unlocked so far to 3 or 4 locations. I think I'm at 4, technically 4 locations. Yeah, it was definitely the right call, I feel, for the most part, of going with Transmutation. And it's come in clutch so much with smithing and mining particularly, and even fletching. It definitely has been a very, very good choice on that end, because I'm able to pretty much collect the bare minimum of whatever that resource is and upgrade it to whatever tier I'm at currently. So that's how I've been able to get to level 90 smithing, and level 90, time of recording this, 91. By the time I probably post it, it'll probably be like 93 or something like that. Fletching. So those have definitely been very helpful, and even with crafting a little bit. That one I've chosen a different approach. I've been doing the AFK method of going to Gate. I don't know the full name. I apologize greatly for any hardcore RuneScape 3 players. I don't remember the name, but you know, the Gate. That's where I pretty much am going, which is in the city of and doing the crafting method where you pretty much sit there for like, I think it's like the longest I've sat there has been like 10-15 minutes, and I've gotten easily like 10 levels within that, probably like under an hour. It's a great method. If you're not using it in either the main game or in leagues, I definitely recommend that you use going to the gate, and I'll put up footage of what I'm pretty much doing within those clips on there to get that crafting XP, and it's been phenomenal, like I said, for leveling up crafting for me. Transmutation has been a very good pick for me. And then going into tier 5, I think what I'm going to be choosing next is more likely going to be Devout. It's kind of a little bit Production Master maybe, but I think I'm leaning towards Devout just because I enjoy resource gathering. So for me, it's not too big of a deal. I'd rather have the yak there for me to be able to bank automatically. So I think that would be a win for my playstyle, but we'll see. Like I said, I think by Saturday, whenever I'm going to be actually going live, we'll be really close to me picking my next relic, and so we'll kind of see where we go from there. So, and then I have really no idea for tier 6 or tier 7 where I'm going to be going on those fronts. Those are kind of very much up in the air for the most part of what I will be choosing for that. If you guys can hear rumbling, that's Leonardo, my dog. I'll put a picture of him up. He's being rambunctious. So, but yeah, that's where I've been with relics. And then blessings. This one I have been following the RS guide. We're not guide. Been following the RS guys like Miro board. He has like his leagues board where he kind of planned and explained everything. And one of his pictures within there is explaining like the 3 or 4 different blessing routes that you can pick for your combat style. And I've chosen the very easy PVM one. So it's been a lot of Sarah Doman picks so far. I'm only at tier 2 at the moment because I've not done a lot of PVMing or bossing in general. I've barely got striking light. I think I want to say like Saturday, maybe. So, and that was one of my picks. So going into those picks, tier 1, we went with Terra Guard's Aegis. That was the first one that I picked, and then striking light. And I'll put a picture of what that board looks like, what I'm probably going to more likely be following, and then eventually I'll probably reset it at some point if I feel a little bit more confident, if we have time in this league for me to kind of understand a little bit more of how the combat works for the most part. So, but I don't regret either of those choices. I think they've been very helpful for me so far. I can't really tell though, because like I said, I'm very noobish when it comes to the combat, but I think it's been very helpful in general when it comes to just basic combat within the game. So, but those are my blessings, those are my relics, and those are my regions that I've chosen so far. I have really 0 regrets on any of them. Kind of, I guess, maybe for Endless Harvest, but it's not too big of a deal for me. It's only been week 1, and maybe we'll reset at some point. Possibly, I can't really guarantee that I will, but no regrets so far. No regrets. But and just like you won't have any regrets by leaving a like in this video. I'm sorry, we did have to plug that. Okay. Anyways, moving on. So going into my goals for this league, I've kind of been very hinting at it very strongly throughout this conversation, but it's been very focused on learning combat, experiencing content that I kind of grew up with and didn't really get to experience then, and then kind of go back and see it, and then in addition to experiencing old content, experiencing a lot of the new content, depending on the region picks that I choose, that I have yet to experience in the main game, because currently my main character is pretty much kind of sitting in the early to mid game, like very late early game, very beginning mid game, I think is where he's at the moment. So it's kind of, that's where I'm experiencing a lot of stuff. So to use leagues as that opportunity to kind of really learn a lot more about the game and get to experience a lot of stuff that I'm pretty much kind of locked out of at the moment when it comes to my main account and the actual live game. So those are my 3 big things. Like I said, experience combat, really get used to it, understand that, old content, new content, and then I would like, for the rewards wise, I would really like to try and get to Dragon. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. I'd be happy with Rune. I think Rune is probably doable. I say as I'm sitting at barely 4,000 points on week 1, but I think if I like lock in a couple streams and probably like stream for like, I don't know, 7-8 hours. Maybe I'll be able to knock out a lot of tasks within that and just kind of continue having fun on those ends. But I think that's my main goal at the end of the day, is just really have fun. They have made a lot of improvements, like I stated at the beginning of the video, with the road to restoration. I can't get into the nitty gritty because I don't understand it enough to get into the nitty gritty. But thankfully, there are better YouTubers out there than I am that can really explain this stuff if you're ever intrigued by it. So definitely big shout out to those guys. And additionally, a huge shout out to all the guide makers out there and the guys who run the RS Wiki. You guys are an absolute godsend. You are amazing. I hope you sleep with the absolute coldest pillow and that you are always tucked in every night with your favorite blanket and you have the sweetest of dreams. I don't know, man. You guys are incredible, because as a returning player, this game can be very overwhelming and confusing to learn, and they've been making ways to streamline it, don't get me wrong, and especially with the upcoming API plugin project that we'll be getting, I think, by the end of this year, more likely, per the road to restoration. I'll have to double check. Thank you so much to you guys who make the guide. You guys make life a lot easier in explaining a lot of these complex systems and make it a lot better for us to just play the game and enjoy it. So if you are a old school RuneScape player, or just a new player in general, and you want to get into RuneScape 3, I will probably continue to say it. There's no better time than now, especially during leagues, to really just try it out, dip your toes in, and see if you like it. And if you don't, that's fine. It is an incredible time right now that we get to live in, where we have 3 different RuneScapes, to where one of them will probably fit into that style of gameplay that you like. You got RuneScape, Modern RuneScape / RuneScape 3, you have Old School RuneScape, and you have Dragon Wild. So there really is a lot of flavors that you can definitely enjoy. So I would highly recommend it, and definitely shout out to all those guys and who make guides. So, but yeah. So that'll wrap it up for my week 1 recap. Very short, very simplistic. Week 2, I'll try to, like I said, post it around the same time, hopefully a little bit sooner, so I'm not cutting into week 2. Week 2 would technically probably be posted during like week 3. So yeah, come hang out with us over on twitch.tv/SirTaco. If you're not following us already over there, I'll be live every Saturday during the league, and I think even midway through the league, like week 4, there'll be like a 3-day weekend. It's gonna be a 4-day weekend for me, so I'll probably be live like every day during that weekend. Yeah, more than likely, if I had to guess. So definitely come hang out with us, and we'll continue having a good time. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you guys on the live stream, and thank you again so much for the support that you guys have shown to me so far. I'm going to keep trying my best to be consistent with more posts and videos. So other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your morning, day, whatever time it is for you. Have fun, be safe. We'll catch you guys in the next one.